Capital Prime.
Right now, at this very moment, 235 million Americans are in the path of what meteorologists are calling a potentially historic winter storm. This isn't a regional weather event. This isn't a typical January snowstorm. This is Winter Storm Fern, a 2,000-mile monster stretching from Texas to Maine, and it's hitting today. Before we break down the catastrophic numbers, subscribe to Capital Prime and turn on notifications. The storm is developing hour by hour, and what happens in the next 72 hours could leave millions without power in sub-zero temperatures. You need to see every update as it comes in. Let me show you what we're facing. Let's start with the numbers because the scale of this is difficult to comprehend. 235 million people. That's more than 2/3 of the entire United States population. 40+ states under some form of winter weather alert. 12 states have already declared emergencies before the worst of it even hits. This storm started forming yesterday. It's hitting full force today, Friday, and it won't be done until Monday. That's 4 days. 4 days of a 2,000-mile wide atmospheric assault. Here's what's actually in this storm system. Up to 2 feet of snow in some areas. Not inches, feet. Dangerous ice accumulation that's already causing power outages before the peak even arrives. Wind chills of 50 below zero in the upper Midwest. That's not a typo. 50 below zero. At those temperatures, frostbite can occur in less than 5 minutes. Exposed skin freezes, cars won't start, power grids strain under the load of everyone trying to heat their homes at once. And that's where this gets deadly serious. If you lived through February 2021, you remember what happened in Texas. A winter storm hit. The power grid failed. People froze to death in their own homes. 200 people died, not from the storm itself, from the cascading failures that followed. Pipes burst, hospitals lost power, entire neighborhoods went dark for days in sub-freezing temperatures. Texas officials swore they fixed the grid. They said it would never happen again. We're about to find out if that's true. Because Winter Storm Fern is hitting Texas right now, and the temperatures are dropping fast. Here's what keeps emergency managers up at night during storms like this. When temperatures plunge, everyone turns up the heat. Electricity demand spikes. At the same time, power generation struggles because equipment doesn't work well in extreme cold. It's a perfect storm for grid failure. And we've seen it happen before. In 2021, Texas's independent grid collapsed because it wasn't winterized. Natural gas wells froze, wind turbines iced over, coal plants couldn't get fuel. Since then, Texas claims to have made improvements, but they've never been tested at this scale. And it's not just Texas this time. The entire eastern seaboard is in play. From Dallas to Chicago to New York to Boston. Multiple regional grids, multiple points of failure, all under simultaneous stress. Snow is dramatic, but ice is what kills the power. Even a 1/4 inch of ice on power lines can bring them down. Trees snap under the weight. Transformers fail. And suddenly, entire neighborhoods go dark. Reports are already coming in of ice accumulation in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. The storm hasn't even peaked yet, and we're already seeing outages. If the ice zone expands as forecasted, if it spreads into Tennessee, Kentucky, and the mid-Atlantic, we could be looking at millions without power in the coldest temperatures of the year. Let's talk about what this actually means for people. If you lose power in 50 below wind chills, your home becomes uninhabitable within hours. Pipes freeze and burst. Carbon monoxide poisoning becomes a risk as people use generators or gas stoves to stay warm. Emergency rooms fill with hypothermia cases, heart attacks from shoveling snow, car accident victims from icy roads. Homeless populations are at extreme risk. Shelters fill beyond capacity. People die on the streets. And here's the thing. We know this is coming. We can see it on the radar. We have days of warning. But knowledge doesn't equal preparation. 12 states have already declared emergencies. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and parts of the Dakotas. Those declarations unlock federal resources, activate National Guard units, and allow governors to suspend certain regulations to speed up response. But emergency declarations don't prevent the storm. They just acknowledge that state resources alone won't be enough to handle what's coming. Here's something most people aren't thinking about yet. This storm shuts down transportation across half the country. Interstates close, airports cancel flights. Freight trucks can't move. That means food deliveries stop. Medical supplies don't arrive. Fuel trucks can't reach gas stations. For most people, that's an inconvenience. For hospitals, nursing homes, and people dependent on regular medication deliveries, it can be life-threatening. And we're talking about this lasting through the weekend into Monday. 3 to 4 days of transportation paralysis across 40 states. Let me walk you through what's happening and when. Today, Friday, the storm intensifies across Texas and the southern plains. Ice accumulation begins. First major power outages reported. Friday night into Saturday, the system spreads northeast. Heavy snow begins in the Midwest. Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland get hammered. Wind chills drop to deadly levels across the upper Midwest. Saturday into Sunday, the storm reaches the East Coast. New York, Philadelphia, Boston prepare for heavy snow and ice. The full 2,000 mile extent of the storm is now active simultaneously. Sunday into Monday, the system begins to weaken, but dangerous cold lingers. Recovery efforts begin, but millions may still be without power. That's the timeline. That's what we're facing. Meteorologists are comparing this to some of the worst winter storms in modern history. The blizzard of 1996, the ice storm of 1998, the February 2021 Texas freeze. What makes Fern different is the geographic scale. Previous historic storms hit regions. This one is hitting half the country at once. Emergency management systems aren't designed for simultaneous catastrophic events across 40 states. FEMA has finite resources. The National Guard can't be everywhere. Mutual aid, where neighboring states help each other, doesn't work when everyone is drowning at the same time. What you need to know right now, if you're in the path of this storm, here's what you need to do immediately. Charge everything. Phones, laptops, battery packs. If the power goes out, these are your lifelines. Get supplies now. Water, non-perishable food, medications, batteries, flashlights. Stores are already being cleaned out. Protect your pipes. Let faucets drip. Open cabinet doors under sinks. Know where your main water shutoff is. Have a backup heat source, but be smart. Never use a gas stove or generator indoors. Carbon monoxide kills silently. Check on neighbors, elderly people, people with disabilities, people living alone. They're the most vulnerable. Stay off the roads. If you don't absolutely have to drive, don't. Every storm, people die in car accidents because they thought they could handle it. Here's what makes this even more concerning. We're only in mid-January. Winter is far from over. And our infrastructure is already being pushed to the breaking point. Climate scientists have been warning that extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and more severe. Not just heat waves and hurricanes, winter storms too. Warmer Arctic temperatures disrupt the jet stream, allowing polar air to plunge south in ways that historically were rare. So the question isn't just, can we survive this storm? It's, Are we prepared for this to become the new normal? Based on what happened in 2021, based on the current state of our power grids and infrastructure, the answer is troubling. Over the next 72 hours, we're going to see this play out in real time. Some areas will handle it well. Others won't. Power grids will either hold or fail. Emergency response systems will either cope or be overwhelmed. And by Monday, we'll know whether the improvements made after 2021 were enough, or whether we're about to watch another preventable disaster unfold. Winter Storm Fern is here. 235 million Americans in the path. 2,000 miles of winter hell from Texas to Maine. Sub-zero wind chills, potentially historic snowfall, power grid stress tests happening in real time. This is developing minute by minute. Subscribe to Capital Prime for continuous updates. Turn on notifications. And tell me in the comments, are you in the path of this storm? What are you seeing on the ground? Stay safe out there, bundle up, check on your neighbors, and stay with us. This is Capital Prime. We'll keep watching.